So, welcome to Jumbo IS, everyone. I'm sure that your prelims preparation is going top notch. Now, the thing is that I have come here to talk about something very serious when it comes to your prelims examination. You see, current affairs form a very important portion of your prelims examination, and I need not tell you anything more about current affairs. Because current affairs, as you all know, is very important. 50% of your exam, 50% of your prelims exam will come from current affairs. 50% of the MCQs asked in your prelims exam, at least 50%, will be directly or indirectly related to current affairs. Now, by directly, I mean the questions would be directly from the current affairs. Okay, they would be directly taken from past 1 year's newspapers. Okay, but what do I mean by the term indirectly? You see, there are many questions in your prelims examination that might give you the appearance of coming from static portion, static economics, static polity, static geography, static environment. It might give you that appearance. But the reason why that question was asked was because that particular concept featured in past 1 year's newspapers. I'll give you an example. The thing is, let's suppose that in this prelims examination you get a question with related to inflation. Let's suppose you get a question related to consumer price index. Now you might think that this question is related to static economics syllabus. You might think that. Of course, because you have read consumer price index inflation in your static economics notes, right? But the reason why they chose to ask an MC from inflation was because in past 1 year's newspapers, inflation featured quite frequently. There were a lot of news articles related to consumer price index, related to inflation, and that is why they have chosen to ask a question related to consumer price index or inflation in your prelims examination. That's what I mean by the term indirectly. Now, you guys all know the importance of current affairs, okay? I've told you, questions are asked from current affairs directly or indirectly, and some of you already know about it. The challenge is how to cover current affairs, how to consolidate 1 year old current affairs, how to consolidate all these current affairs from the past 1 year. How to do that, how to manage that. They're quite bulky. And many people fall into the trap of revising or covering these monthly current affairs magazines. That's the biggest trap that you can fall into right now. Right now is not the time to cram or read these monthly current affairs magazines. There are many institutes, many brands that offer these monthly current affair compilations, and all students across the country go for these monthly compilations, buy them or download them for free, and spend their entire time just going through that. Now, I'll tell you, that is the wrong approach. The thing is, you can have a simpler approach. I'll share a simpler approach with you. Okay? And what is that simple approach? The thing is that what we have done at Jumbo IS is that both Indian Express and the Hindu newspaper, they both come out with this explained series. Every day when they release their newspaper, publish their newspaper, there is this section in both these newspapers that is called explained. Indian Express explained section, the Hindu explained section. So what we at Jumbo IS have done is that we have from the past 1 year's newspapers, from the past 1 year Indian Express newspaper, from the past 1 year Hindu newspaper, we have selected all these explained series articles and we have divided them into different subjects. Okay, so all the explained series articles in Indian Express and Hindu with respect to polity have been segregated by us, with respect to economics have been segregated by us, with respect to geography have been segregated by us, and so on with respect to environment, culture, international relations. So we have segregated all these articles, divided all these articles into subjects, and we will explain these articles to you through lectures. And these lectures will be available on our YouTube channel. Okay, so the thing is that all these explained series articles are divided into subjects. These subjects will be covered one by one, okay, in lecture form in YouTube, and we will cover all the explained series articles of the past 1 year. Now, why have we chosen explained series articles? Because from the past 5 years, we have found out that explained series articles feature a lot in prelims examination. They ask a lot of questions related to explained series articles. Okay, many questions are directly taken from these explained series articles, especially Indian Express explained series articles. So to make these articles simple for you, we have all these articles from the newspapers, extracted them out from the newspapers, we have segregated them into subjects, and then we will cover all these articles subject wise. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with economics. So there are in total 80 articles, 80 topics that have been very important, and that's why they have featured in the explained section of these two newspapers. So I have shortlisted 80 topics from economics, and we will cover these 80 topics in next 10 lectures. Similarly, we will come out with polity, geography, environment, international relations, all these other subjects as well. But from tomorrow, we are going to start with economics, and in economics, we will cover all these 80 articles in the next 10 days, in the next 10 lectures. Okay, now we have called this series of lectures Prelims Powerplay. It's like power play only. Power play we have borrowed from cricket. IPL is round the corner, right? So this is known as Prelims Powerplay series, and from we are going to start with Prelims Powerplay Economics series. Okay, now let me explain some things about economics, because from tomorrow I am going to take your economics portion. We will cover the most important 80 topics from the past 1 year, from July last year to April this year. Okay, we will cover all the important news related to economics in this economics prelims power play series. Okay, so let me explain to you what this prelims power play series will be all about. Okay, so prelims power play, so we will cover the most important current affairs topic. You don't have to refer to any monthly capsule, monthly compilation. Okay, just follow this series, and we will provide you with the notes along with the lectures as well as practice MCQs. Okay, so that you get to practice MCQs before your prelims examination. And we don't worry, we will cover all of this before your prelims examination. Okay, so prelims power play. Okay, now I'm going to talk about prelims power play economics section. Okay, now we have shortlisted these topics, all these 80 topics from these 4 sources. So these are the only 80 topics that you should focus your attention on when it comes to current affairs with respect to economics. Okay, we have borrowed topics from the Hindu newspaper, from the Indian Express, from the budget. Well, budget is important, and from economic survey as well. So these are our 4 sources of these 80 topics, which I personally believe, and many people believe, that questions related to economics would be asked from these 80 topics alone. Most of your questions from economics would be asked from these 80 topics. And I have divided these 80 topics into these sections. Okay? These are the subtopics that we will cover every day. Okay? So economic growth and development is topic number 1, under which we'll cover 9 articles. Okay, there are 9 topics that we will cover under economic growth and development. Then banking and finance. In this also we will cover 9 topics. Then there is fiscal policy. Okay, government expenditure, government receipts, 7 topics. Then there is budget. Well, in budget we will cover 9 topics. Then there is external sector. Okay, in external sector we will cover 14 topics, a lot many articles and a lot many issues, especially with the rise of Donald Trump in America. A lot of external economics, external sector related economics has featured in the newspapers. So there are 14 topics. With respect to agriculture, there are 23 topics, and with respect to industry and finance, there are 9 topics. So in total this amounts to around, and I'm speaking around 1 or 2 topics plus minus, around 80 topics. And we will cover these 80 topics in next 10 days. So give me your 100%, give me your full attention for these next 10 days, because chances are, more than 90% chances are there that questions with respect to economics in your prelims examination would be asked from these 80 topics only. Okay? So please give me your full attention. Please give me your 100%. And you wouldn't have to worry about your economics portion when it comes to your prelims examination. Okay? So from tomorrow onwards, we will start with Prelims Powerplay Economics series. In the next 10 days, your entire economics section, current with respect to economics, as well as some static concepts with respect to economics, would be covered. So next 10 days are dedicated to economics. You just have to give me 1 hour of your day and you wouldn't have to worry about your economics portion. All right. So I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow with lecture number 1 from Prelims Powerplay series, Economics. Thank you, everyone, and see you tomorrow.